Hello viewers, this is Dr. Alok Chajed on Already Late, a channel that brings to you insights into the world of personal finance, investments and economy in the simplest manner. A couple of weeks ago, I had explained how you can earn an extra income without taking undue risk by investing in liquid funds. If you have not watched that video, watch that before watching this one. In this video, I will guide you on choosing the right option within a liquid fund and enable you to increase your net earnings easily by 1%. Let us say you decided to invest in a liquid fund. You wanted to invest roughly, let's say 1 lakh rupees. When you looked up on the internet, you found multiple options: growth, daily dividend, weekly dividend, and monthly dividend. Which one do you choose? Do you know that the difference between these options can result in that additional 1% return which I was talking about? Let us first understand what these options are and how do these impact your returns. Let us take an example where I wish to invest a lakh of rupees in HDFC liquid fund. Again, only for explanation, this is not a recommendation to invest in HDFC liquid fund. The table that you see on your screen now, it shows the net asset value of each unit, every one unit of the various options of HDFC liquid fund on 20th March 2017. That is the date I am taking for our investment. Now, if you were to invest 1 lakh rupees under each of these options, you will be allotted 31.3188 units under growth option, 97.0742 under monthly dividend, 96.8833 under weekly dividend, and 98.0565 units under the daily dividend option. Now, let us say we decide to sell this investment on 21st March 2020, exactly 3 years later. The net asset value per unit on 21st March is as shown on the table right now. The current value of investment can be easily arrived at by multiplying the number of units that you had received by the value of every unit on 21st March. By multiplying, we get these values that you see now. The gains made by this investment can be obtained by reducing 1 lakh, which is our investment, from the current value. As you see, the gain in growth option is 21,181 rupees and some paisa, whereas there is a loss in all three other options, the monthly, the weekly, and the daily dividend options. Does this mean that even after investing for over 3 years, you earned negative returns? No, do not worry at all. You earned in the form of dividends, which is not shown yet. Now, as the name suggests, a daily dividend usually declares a dividend on a daily basis, a weekly dividend on a weekly basis, and a monthly dividend option on a monthly basis. The dividend amount declared is used to buy more units of the same scheme at the price of that day, the day when the dividend was announced. Please make a note here that it is not compulsory for a mutual fund to declare a dividend, and the period mentioned, daily, weekly and monthly, is indicative and they generally try to maintain that. When the mutual fund declares a dividend, in equity funds and other debt funds, you tend to receive that amount in your bank account. But in case of liquid funds, most of the time, you tend to reinvest this dividend, the amount which is declared as dividend, back to the scheme. For example, in the daily dividend option, the dividend declared was rupees 0.1412 for every unit on 21st March, which means you will get a total of rupees 13.8456 as a dividend. And this amount will be used to purchase more units on that day's NAV, which is 1019.82. So you end up getting 0.0136 additional units. That is for that one day. Similarly, in case of weekly dividend, rupees 0.942 per unit was announced on 27th March. And this resulted in additional units of 0.0885. And in case of monthly dividend, rupees 3.175 was announced, resulting in an additional 0.3513 units. In a similar way, whenever dividend is declared, units get allotted and added to your investment. Also remember that after the dividend is declared, the NAV reduces to a similar extent. The table that you see now gives you an idea of the total additional units received through dividends during this entire 3-year period and the resulting profit on your investment of 1 lakh rupees. You may have observed by now that the profits vary a lot. The growth option seems to be giving way higher returns. Does this mean the growth option is better? Is there something missing even now? Yes, one aspect is still missing, and that is taxation. Before we assess the impact of taxes on our profits, you first need to know the various aspects of taxation. As you saw, the profit could be either through dividends or it could be through appreciation in the net asset value. Now, this appreciation is called capital gain. As per the current income tax laws, earnings in the form of dividend has to be added to your taxable income, and it will be taxed according to the income tax slab which your income falls in. This law was brought in from this financial year, which is from 1st April 2020. Prior to this, dividends were taxed at source, meaning mutual funds, while declaring dividend, will first deduct a tax amount and then the remaining amount is given as dividend or used to buy the units. I will not go into the rates that were being charged because as of now that will have no relevance because it's not applicable now. And in future, if something like that comes back, don't worry, I'll be around and I'll update you on what you should be doing. Currently, what you need to know is if you received any dividend, either in the form of cash or in the form of units because of reinvestment of dividend, you do not have to pay any further tax on them only till 31st March 2020. After that, if you have earned any dividends, let's say if your investment was earlier, you still have invested, you will have to pay that additional dividend, add to the income, pay the taxes after 1st April. Okay, now coming back to the taxation on capital gains. As you already know, the difference between selling price of your investment and purchase price is called capital gain or capital loss if there is a loss. Capital gains are further divided as long-term capital gain and short-term capital gain. For debt funds, including liquid funds, short-term is any investment that was held for 3 years or lesser. And any investment where you hold it for more than 3 years, the holding period is over 3 years, it will be treated as long-term. The gains arising out of short-term investments have to be added in the taxable income just like your dividend income, and it will be taxed according to the income tax slab. The long-term capital gain has to be taxed at the rate of 20%, and you have to factor in inflation. Now this practice is commonly known as indexation. So what is indexation? Our government allows us to factor in inflation in a few of our investments. One such investment is debentures, which is debt mutual fund, not debentures directly, debt mutual funds. Every year, government gives out a number which is called Cost of Inflation Index. CII is the popular name. This number is computed using average inflation across multiple products for the year. The table that you see now has the CII, cost of inflation data for the last few years. Let us now go back to our example of 1 lakh investment made on 20th March 2017 and calculate the taxes under each option and arrive at the final return figure. For growth option, the purchase cost was 1 lakh rupees and this purchase was done on 20th March 2017, which corresponds to the financial year 2016-17. And you sold your investments on 21st March 2020, which is financial year 2019-20. Now what we need to do is just adjust our purchase value to inflation using the numbers given by the government. This can be done very easily by multiplying your purchase value, which is 1 lakh rupees, with the selling year CII, that is 2019-20 cost of inflation index, which is 289, and dividing it by the purchase year CII, which is 264. So your adjusted value of purchase now is 1,09,469 rupees 70 paise. This means that your actual profit for taxation purposes is 11,712 and you will pay 20% tax on this amount, which is 2,342 rupees. So now how does your final table look like? You see that the profits under the growth option is still far superior than others. This is despite the fact that portfolio under all options is the same. So why is this difference so large? Exactly the same investments, but you see there is a difference in returns. Remember, I mentioned that all dividends were taxed prior to the current financial year. This is the reason for the large variation in returns. So now the logical question is, why would anyone invest in any option other than the growth option? Right? Growth option suits those investors who generally do not withdraw money for over 3 years. Remember, the long term is 3 years. That only if you hold it for 3 years, you get a benefit of long-term capital gains and indexation benefit can be availed. Most investors investing in liquid funds, they have their investment horizon for a few weeks to a few months. They do not generally keep their money for a period like 3 years. This results in short-term capital gain and not long-term capital gain. So what happens is the short-term capital gain, remember I told you, the gain will again get added to the income. So the investor ends up paying according to the income tax bracket, which may be higher than the dividend distribution tax rate which was there for the last 3 years. So that explains why people would still invest in dividend options despite the final figure being so low. Now, thankfully for you, the decision now in this year is much easier because of the removal of dividend distribution tax. Let us take a small example of investing 1 lakh rupees again in HDFC liquid fund, but this time let us say we have invested on 1st May 2020 and understand how taxation will work under the new scenario, the scenario which we all need to be aware of. The first few columns are very similar. See, you see the chart? The first few columns are very similar to our previous example. You will get units allotted based on the NAV, in this case the NAV of 1st May 2020. The daily and weekly options have received some dividends between 1st May and 15th May, which has resulted in an additional 0.178 units for daily dividend and 0.2447 for the weekly dividend. Now there is a profit in all the options. See, you can see that there is a profit there. So let us consider the taxation from the new rules and understand what could be the impact on this income from the taxation perspective. Now with new regime, dividend income and short-term capital gain both have to be added to taxable income and paid according to the tax slab. This makes the growth option very similar to the dividend option in the short term. If you are not investing for 3 years, it will not make much of a difference. But there is one significant difference. Tax on income from dividend will have to be paid even if you have not sold your investments. Let's say you invested, you're getting dividends which are getting reinvested, your money is still there, 31st March 2021 ends, you have not withdrawn the money, you will still have to pay tax on the dividend which you have not received but reinvested for the year. It's called accrued income. But for the growth option, you will pay tax only when you sell the investment. This means that under growth option, you can defer the payment till the actual selling of investment happens. Now, ideally, liquid funds are for short-term investments, yes. But a lot of retail investors like you, like me, we use them for parking of our surplus money and, more importantly, the emergency fund. Most of the times we do not expect to withdraw this money. I would definitely not want a scenario where I want to use my emergency fund. So we typically invest and there is no necessity and the money remains there for a really long time. So it's very common to see investment in a liquid fund remain there for over 3 years and it will result in a long-term investment horizon 3 years capital gain. So from your tax point of view, it becomes a long-term investment. In such cases, growth option will work out in a higher post-tax return for most individuals. Your long-term capital gains tax would work out in the range of 12 to 15% considering your investment, considering the next 3 years inflation. Your net tax could be only 12 to 15% because it's 20% after indexation. So you might, on the very conservatively, you might end up paying 15% as tax. So two major observations here. If you have chosen dividend option, most of us will be in tax brackets of 10 to 30%, and we end up paying the same percentage as tax. In growth option, you either pay the same if it is short-term capital gain, or you end up paying much lesser, which is around 12%, if it is long-term. Let us say if your liquid fund gives a pre-tax return of 6%, your post-tax could be 4.2% if you are in a 30% tax bracket. Second observation, in dividend option, you pay every year, but in growth option, you pay only at the time of sale of investment, in that financial year, in the year which you have sold, which could be this year or it could be later. It cannot be before that. So which means you are paying lesser and you are paying later. So it's a double benefit if you invest in growth option. So just by selecting the right option, you can earn up to 1% additional interest, additional return on your savings. I hope it is very clear on how you can earn this extra money. So just go back to your investments and check if you have the right option. Hopefully you have a growth option now. If not, ask me how to change it without any cost. Select the right option, change it to the right option. You want to ask me, just leave a comment on the comment section saying you want some help. I'll be happy to help you. Do like this video, do share it with others, and do subscribe to my channel if you want more personal finance content brought to you in the simplest way. Happy learning. Thank you.